Hello, guys, and welcome back here as we start another year of the DPC, starting with one of the most hyped matches of the whole season. Probably the what's becoming the new El Clásico, as it's going to be NoPing versus beastcoast. Unfortunately, it's not going to be the old NoPing, though. It's going to be the new Brazilian squad, so closer to what we were seeing for SG. But hey, if the performance at TI, or at least in the close qualifiers, was reflective of the whole team, they might actually be able to give Beast Coast a run for their money. We're going to have to see. Here joining me on the panel today is going to be Lacoste and Lyrical. What a nice alliterative panel, guys. Thank you for joining me today.
And Avo, too. Yeah, Lacoste, Lyrical, and Avo. It all works, right?
It works. It's been a while since I worked with Lyrical. When I first started casting, it was mostly Dakota and Lyrical after that. So we were just grinding together. And here we are right now on the panel for South America. Very hyped about it.
Yeah. How do you feel about this matchup, Lacoste? Are you excited about NoPing? Do you have faith in them?
Not as much. Like when the first season started, they looked really good, but they just kept repeating what they know. They kept picking all the same heroes. Like they managed to beat Hokori. Then they lost to Apu Kings. Coming into that matchup, I felt like NoPing had this momentum, and they're just picking the stuff that it works. But Apu, King of Kings, I didn't know much about the team. They're doing really good. Like they have some really strong individual plays, and also like as a team. So I was a bit first surprised when I saw them in action. So I think this loss for NoPing is gonna cost them to maybe even get relegated if they lose this one to Beast Coast, or mess up the plan to go to the major. But because like even the loss against Infamous, they had some really throwy plays. So before I looked at the play, I'm like, well, man, look at the NoPing. Like I know some of these guys. I know that they can do well. I see the first game. I don't know if I was casting or paneling. I'm like, hell yeah, they're gonna be top contender. And then everything just fell apart pretty much.
Yeah. Do you echo that feeling, Lyrical? You worried for NoPing a bit?
I'm a little bit more optimistic. And granted, some of that could be maybe because I didn't get to watch that match of theirs against Infamous as much.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Right. Well, that's the thing, right? Is that I'm looking at the rest of these sort of results and trying to piece together my belief on them. And you take down a Corey at the start. Losing Apu King of Kings feels kind of bad, but then you sort of look at what the rest of this team has actually been looking like and how they've been performing. It's like, okay, well, maybe these guys are just actually better than we were originally giving them credit for, and NoPing isn't as bad. But then when I see that, okay, they took a game off of Infamous, and granted, it's not necessarily the roster that you would expect, but I could see some shades there of maybe things coming together, and I don't know. We'll see. I'm an optimistic person by nature. I want to believe in these boys.
We can play the good cop, bad cop. I'll be a bit more realistic. I'll be more BM. Looking at the matchups that they still have to play, they need to play against Lava, and they need to play against SG. So that should be very interesting. They definitely need to win those two.
Yeah.
And their last match is going to be against Thunder Predator. Not an easy one. Like definitely not an easy one. So like if they lose this one to Beast Coast, they're gonna be 1-3, and that's definitely not the spot that you want to be in.
But if they win this one against
Beast
Coast, if that happens, hey, 2-2.
Okay, I realize now it went from good cop, bad cop to optimist, crazy optimist. I mean, I win the matchup against Beast Coast, not just one match, mind you, but the whole thing. Lyrical, if you're right, that would be huge for them.
This is not a prediction.
Yeah, that's a very bold prediction. With in regards to NoPing, I mean, the team is kind of new, you could argue, right? Like, I mean, I compared them to SG because they still have the coach and the support duo, but they're not really that team at all. When it came to SG, they took a really long time to kind of come together. 2 whole seasons. So maybe NoPing is just going on a long road again, right? Maybe it's a future project for them. Maybe Christmas was revitalizing. Maybe Lyrical is right. If they win against Beast Coast, though, I would be very surprised, Lyrical. I very, very surprised.
If they win, it's a 3-game series for sure. Okay. I've been really impressed by RDO. I think he knows how to play Dota. I think he could play for like some top tier teams that are also outside of South America, because he
Like
knows how to
Level Up.
farm. He knows when to join the fights. I've not been impressed by Analog. I think he has a lot of these like mistakes, especially in the laning stage, where he can easily get ran over. So they need to be able to protect him and play around him. Especially some of the plays that I've seen on the Storm Spirit, where he just completely miscalculates how much mana he needs for the zip, and it's by 1,000. Like it's 1,000. I'm not even talking about 200. I was like, what the hell's happening? But looking at some of the bans right now, it's not what happens in other regions. Like this is typical South America bans, I would say, because Brewmaster not popular. Viper, I don't see these bans in North America or EU West, not even EU East. Silencer, something that beastcoast really loves to play as a position 5, as an offlane as well if necessary. There's so many good heroes left. Well, NoPing, I can talk a lot. Like they're just, I'd say, one-dimensional in terms of picking, because they've been playing Io plus Luna plus Storm Spirit, combination of 3 heroes. Don't get me wrong, I really love it. Right. I just feel like the execution and missing out on the timings, because you need to know when to strike with these heroes. And in the first series that they played in DPC, they did really well with it, and then just crumbled.
Well, the one thing that's kind of crazy to me about this is the draft is coming very, very quickly. Holy moly. I was looking at, and in every other series, I'm pretty sure for the last 3 months, Beast Coast has banned IO or just not allowed it to be picked, basically. And like you said, NoPing, very well known for their IO play. Granted, it hasn't always been winning the most, but it's I don't know if it's just a sign of like Beast Coast saying we're not afraid of these guys as IO, we're gonna let them pick it, and we're just gonna beat them with their best strategy. But that's kind of what it looks like. I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And I think this Viper ban also says we want to protect K1 in the team fights, because that's most likely gonna be the target. Be annoying, like offlane Viper possibly, where he goes in and tries to dominate him in the lane, and just in the mid and late game fights use that ulti on him. Same goes for Brewmaster, I would say, where he, like, it's something that NoPing plays, and also he can disrupt team fights. So that there's going to be a lot of net worth on K1. If you take him out with Brewmaster Cyclone in the fights 2 times, that means a lot of their net worth is not being used.
Well, I like that point, actually, and especially if you're thinking of K1 Bloodseeker, which is something he does love running a lot as well. Brew has the little Master Spell, also great against the Blood Rage. They want to secure his lane. It might have been the plan from the beginning. And Bloodseeker tends to be really good against IO and partner. So maybe Lyrical, they're literally baiting into saying, "Nopin, let's see if you're gonna run the same strat yet one more time," because it's already been countered. Infamous already did really well. They don't need to figure anything out anymore.
Well, and they're also, it's one of their most picked strats, and it's also one of their lowest win rate heroes. So,
because they only pick it and they keep losing. Like Lacoste said it well, right? It's supposed to be some kind of like a pocket strat to a degree, or something that you kind of break out in the right situations, and then just go, you know what? Every game is an IO game if you really try hard enough.
Yeah, I think
side of that. I was just going to say that the flip side to that is that they haven't run Night Stalker yet. So maybe this is the thing that they're like, now is the time. We're going to throw in the little wrench in the socket. It's the Night Stalker. That's the answer.
Yeah, I feel like they've fallen into a trap that Beast Coast made for them, where they left IO in the pool, and then they decided to ban out Storm Spirit and Luna, something that NoPing paired up with IO. But NoPing decided to go with something different, as you said, Night Stalker. Big fan of the hero. I feel like it's underutilized and underpicked. I don't think it's necessarily good in this situation. I think Night Stalker is more of your 4th, even last pick type of a hero, where you see 2 supports who can't really do much and don't have any escape mechanism. You need someone to jump the back lines, and like they have no saves. I think the Night Stalker is really good then, but against the Bloodseeker, he's really not that strong. Like Bloodseeker takes out most of his damage. What Night Stalker wants to do is be maneuverable in the fights, and Rupture completely stops that. So now with Bane IO, they have good ways to set things up for relocate with the Bane slow, like just Night Stalker coming out or flying from the trees. It's okay support duo, but you need some kind of a stun. I don't think Night Stalker, IO plus Bane work really well together, because what you want to rely on is Night Stalker ulti. So that means that during daytime, you can't play aggressively. That means the relocate plays are out, and also not be like Bane IO. It's not a aggressive support duo by any means. Like they're mostly focusing on the laning stage to do well, because they're really strong laners. And now even one extra hero that can completely ruin Night Stalker, he goes in, gets Shadow Demon ulti, doesn't do anything. And it's also great save against Bane and the Fiend's Grip. I think this is the perfect pick for Beast Coast.
Yeah, this is a really, really nice one. And I think that the other issue that I kind of had, I mean, so again, the IO Night Stalker, it felt to me like maybe there's something there, but the thought in my back of my head was, okay, if this is the combo that you're going for, you need some other like pretty serious damage out of that other support, because you're not getting it from your 3 really, at least until, you know, Night Stalker either A goes for like the BKB blink route or tries to go into like a basher right click carry situation. Now with the Bane, it's like, well, who the hell's doing damage? You know, is it all on your mid that's going to be making all the moves?
They need some kind of a hyper carry, possibly. I mean, it's a very tough situation to pick, considering they have Shadow Demon. So I would say something like a Sven to go in and just try to man up and deal damage, like hit a certain timing with Sven. But then again, you're playing against Shadow Demon, you're playing against Bloodseeker. I felt like the trap that they set for NoPing, and NoPing took the really hard bait here.
Listen, I need to pull back the curtain for a second for everybody.
Yeah, you do that.
Listen, all you folks out there listening in through your little ear holes. There's a trick that us panelists have when we go into these games, which is we look up this thing called Dota Buff. It's a magical place where you can find out all these things about these teams and what they pick. If you go to the Dota Buff right now for Beast Coast, the top 4 heroes in order that they play: Bloodseeker, Mars, Earthshaker, Shadow Demon. This is their most commonly picked draft, and they got all 4 of their best heroes right at the start. Like, I don't know, they're chilling. They're doing a really good time right now. Beast Coast super happy.
Wow, that is a wild stat, because I'm assuming you're including all the games, right?
No,
all
I'm literally just
sorry.
Last 3 months. Sorry,
last 3 months. Okay,
exactly. No, not all time. That'd be crazy.
That would be like, what a coincidence, right? That all the games. The Bloodseeker is one of their staples always. That's why I'm surprised that NoPing like even got shocked by this trap, because okay, maybe this is their strategy: win condition in the mid lane, some damage as well, not affected so much by Bloodseeker. I can't think of a single carry that doesn't die here. So
Night Stalker provides vision, runs in, and Tinker should do pew 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 from the backlines, but still they have no real stuns. And they can also, like, Beast Coast is very versatile with the heroes that they pick. They can have Earthshaker on the off lane, they can have Bloodseeker on the off lane, mid lane. They need a hero that can catch Tinker. So they can have Mars on the mid lane. There's so much stuff that they can flex. So they need something that can catch Tinker. So something like a Clockwork, even Spirit Breaker works well. Any of the spirits, I would say, that are left in the pool. Unfortunately, Storm Spirit is not there, but anything that can close the gap. A lot of these elusive heroes like Pocket Queen of Pain got banned out. So I want to see like what NoPing things is going to be good. That's not a good, like, because Mars, Bloodseeker, Shadow Demon, Earthshaker, they don't deal well with the Tinker once he gets like 3 items. So that could be a bit problematic. That's why I want to see Beastcoast picking up something that deals well with Tinker, that provides any kind of vision, or that has like Spirit Breaker charge, or something maneuverable like any of the 2 spirits left in the pool.
I mean, traditionally it'd be like Zeus and Storm, right?
Yes,
something like that.
Well, Zeus is kind of dead now, though. I think
that's true.
I think you can sub Zeus for like one of the spirits, like Lacoste says. I want to ask you though, Gabe. I want to hear your optimistic outlook though, because you're the king of that. We've just seen NoPing deviate right from what we're talking about. They actually somewhat sidestep the trap, right, with this Tinker. They could change that. They can play like a temple carry. What options are you seeing here for NoPing to like change this draft?
Let me just tell you, they've already done the change. This is the winning pick right here. This Tinker is going to do it. It completely flips the draft on its head, right? They're saying, oh, we think that we're going to go for like some super crazy hyper carry as this Invoker comes out. Nobody cares. Tinker's the one that's going to win. It makes the entire draft look different. Now, is that actually going to happen? I'm not so sure, but there's a chance, you know? Get one stun out of your hand. Go with that Sven that Lacoste was talking about. It'll be beautiful, I believe.
It's not a real response to Thinker. It's something that can get them like Spirit Vessel. It's also long range disruption. Bane's not gonna have a good time in this game. Like he can't use Fiend's Grip. Playing into Bloodseeker's Silence, Spear, Shadow Demon, the Disruption, Fissure from long range distance to be able to stop it. Invoker. It's not a good Bane game. Like they need to focus on the laning stage. I want to see like also who plays 4, who plays 5 in this situation. I think if they want to put a bit more pressure and just seeing how they played so far in the DPC, I would say that's KJ IO.
Yeah, but I'm assuming it's going to be 4, right?
For the last
Not necessarily.
No, as in like the IO is going to be a 4. I mean,
yeah.
Right? Or
I think Bane Nightstalker put more pressure than like Nightstalker IO. So if they want to try to ruin K1's game, I think that's a better choice for them.
Oh, I like this. Is this safe lane Kunkka then?
It's safe lane
think
Kunkka.
so.
I like that.
Good one, Lacoste. All right.
Yeah.
So why Gabe? Why do you like it?
So basically, my thought process here is that you need somebody that can be a good amount of damage in that mid game to like kind of inhabit sort of a similar role that like an Underlord would, like park somebody in a lane. RDO can kind of either like make a move over towards mid to like make sure that if there's a big gank that happens there, he's going to be a hard one to bring down and kill. You've got a potential where he can like make some action happen. It's just a hero that can do whatever they need it to do. He's going to be strong in the moment when a lot of the rest of those heroes are weak. He's strong when Night Stalker and Tinker are weak. So, and then Tinker feels like he's the real win condition here.
He is. They don't have the counter for Tinker, and they need to like not lose the lanes. Night Stalker, he is relatively strong laner, even though like you rely on the nighttime. But having Io and Bane, I think it also kind of stabilized the lane. Also, Kunkka is a really strong laner, especially with the X mark the spot where you can go back. And yeah, I think this one should be interesting. More interesting, definitely, than I thought before, like coming into the draft. Seeing the drafts, I'd say, without seeing the names, I think I would say that maybe NoPing even won the draft.
Oh, wow. Gabe, are you on the NoPing trade here?
Listen, here's the thing. Lacoste told me earlier that he felt like Analog is the one that maybe is a little bit struggling potentially, or he has a little bit. So I'm hesitant because the game's on him. So this is his moment to step up and make it happen and redeem himself from
We're
before.
watching
I'm
you.
ready for it. I'm ready.
Well, all right. Gabe's ready. He's not. He's sitting on that fence. Let's see what happens as we get into game number 1. We move it on to our casters. It's going to be SeekNStrike and some other guy for Beast Coast versus NoPing.
That's right.
Hey,
we
Richie.
got some other guy here who like barely knows about Beast Coast. I don't even know where we got this guy. Pulled him out from some alley or something like that. Who knows?
But let me tell you,
welcome.
Chris Luck told me one night when I was sleeping with him in Kiev. No, that's it. There's no more to the story. He just talked to me all night. It was really nice. He tickled my ear with his wonderful whispers. It was great.
Oh, so Whisper was there as well, was he? Seems
No,
a little-
Whisper was just the one fanning us. It was really interesting setup. Yeah.
well-
I'm actually here to share things about NoPing though, Richie. I'm here to give you some inside information on NoPing. Yeah, I know.
Okay, let's hear it.
Yeah.
The true subversion of expectations. Let's hear it.
I So Beast Coast told me that NoPing is the kind of team that again, it was Bowie was talking about NoPing a lot, and I got to meet King Jungles as well, TI a little bit. And as we get into the game, by the way, you don't have to. This story time does not require my face. Go into the game. Don't worry about it.
He doesn't want to be associated with his face to the words, you know. Yeah.
But NoPing is the kind of team that we talked a lot about it in the draft, and I think they were my panel was cautiously optimistic. But they're the kind of team that's really looking to like rebuild themselves from the ground up. Manguso, which is their coach, is the same thing for SG, where like they have weekly meetings. They talk about all the mistakes they did. It's a very much a long-term project for them. When it comes to this team. And so some of the results might not be very reflective because they might be really just using this DPC as practice. And this is not an exaggeration. Like, they're not sucking because there's not an excuse, right, to them. They actually might be just trying to build up their team, and we might not be seeing NoPing in full power. I think they're a long-term project when you get all these new players, including Monster and Analog, which are relatively young. And the idea behind this team might be to rebuild the team over and over again until they get into a strong second season, even strong third season, and then go to the major then. I don't think they have high hopes for doing well the first season, unfortunately, for the viewers.
I mean, yeah, that definitely...
That's what SG did, right? It's just so similar to SG, who sucked so hard in second season, and they found this way of building the team, which is not the best way to do it for short term. It takes like a lot of mental preparation. It takes way too much effort outside the game, but if it works for TI, and that's the goal.
Yeah, no, I was about to say that's. I was just flipping through my pages here because that sounds like pretty much almost one-to-one what another team. I think it's NoPing right now currently are kind of going through, right, trying to get the confidence back and going through all that. Or not NoPing, sorry, old NoPing, which is
Thunder.
Thunder, yeah.
Yes. I mean, I would say maybe I don't know if that would put in the same position. I think they're stronger. Maybe Lava would be in that position, like old Thunder. Yeah, I would put in that position. But in this case, it's more because the coach's style is that, right? Like, he is... Manguso's the kind of guy who wants to make sure that everyone's on the same page, that, like, everyone is constantly correcting their own errors. He's not looking for the easy wins, which is why the strategy of IO Luna is surprising. It might be a practicing strategy to force the IO every single time. Because by doing that, you always know what mistakes you made in the game, right? It's never the draft that's messing you up. It's like, this is how you play this draft. And you can really, really iterate on that like an AI.
Yeah, you're keeping it constant, you know? Keeping the scientific method, right?
Yeah.
You control the wisp.
Yeah, Manguso actually used to be a scientist before this. Yeah, he was a mechanical
Is that so?
engineer. No, I made that up. I have no clue what he did before this.
I was gonna go is that because the mid lane mechanics are top tier. Right now, Analog doing pretty good. You see that transition? You see that segue?
No, it was awful. Because of Manguso's the coach. What is he teaching him to play Tinker? I don't understand. Analog, he's a 19-year-old kid. He's never gone to uni. He doesn't know anything about science. He just plays Tinker out of, it's all heart here for the Tinker player.
I feel like it normally is. Tinker is very much a heart player, isn't it? Not the item. Yeah. More like you love the hero, so you play it. Nice job. They're toggling the Nightmare top lane.
Nope.
It's gonna allow Whisper to easily escape there.
Whisper really intimidating with the voice lines, right? That laugh is a laugh, dude. That is one of the most famous streamers in Peru, and people absolutely love it. It's the biggest meme in the TPC right now.
I use it here all the time. Yeah, I bought
it's scary, dude. You get that in you miss a deny, right? And then you throw the laugh. That's intimidation 101.
It's the mental damage, incalculable amounts. And speaking about incalculable amounts, we saw a Kunkka yesterday, right? It was Wish for Brame played in mid lane Kunkka.
King Jungles. Bottom. Ooh, King Jungles goes down. That was really easy, honestly. They just chased after him. It is Bloodseeker after all, so easy to set up with a Blood Right with Disruption, and Thirst just follows through.
Yeah, and that was level 1 Shadow Poison as well. Singer's just been kind of spamming these things out. Like they're made out of butter. Or I guess they're made out of butter means it's cheap now. But he's been just kind of buttering up the Wisp with these Shadow Poison stacks. And still level 1 Shadow Poison. Saving on to the third skill point now, rather. But we'll see what he wants to put that into. My question for you, though, is how many Daedalus is RDO going to build here on the Safe Line Kunkka? Do you expect?
None, I hope. It's I think especially with Tinker, like we talked about it in the draft, right? We had this wonderful panel. The host is especially good. And they talked about the draft, and they were commenting on the fact that Tinker's the win condition right now. So I think Kunkka wants to play Space Creation. That means to me Armlet. You go for the Silver Edge usually, and or early BKB ideally, then into Silver Edge. And your goal is not to be this one-hit crit wonder, right? Your goal is to tank up. So AC is a good option. You can even go for the Heart or even Assange, Evans Halberd, right? But your goal shouldn't be to superpose the Tinker. Tinker is your one and only. They still haven't really dealt with him, so if you can abuse that well, he can honestly carry the game.
Yep, it's going to be all about vision as well, right? Playing between this Night Stalker ultimates, getting that nighttime vision, just kind of spamming out missiles. There's a gank coming bot lane, however, as they will set up two with the Blood Right. A great fissure is going to pop the Wisp. Monster finds himself on the other side of the fissure, so he's going to be allowed to leave.
I'm worried about the Night Stalker pickup though, because I think Bloodseeker destroys in this game, and you even have the Shadow Demon to boot, right? It's like I the concern with the Rupture here as well is that he's really the best Rupture target by a long shot, unless you're rupturing the Tinker, which sometimes it's good, but you need someone to jump him. So he always is just the free Rupture. Like he's gonna buck in first, you're gonna see him first. He's the highest HP hero, so Rupture's base damage is already pretty great, and then he moves around a lot. Hector is always going to rupture him and then get a free kill off him. And then the whole Tinker Night Stalker strat is kind of thrown away. And in case you don't have rupture for whatever reason, there's always Demonic Purge, another great way to cancel him. So I don't know how much impact he can have as a supposed Tinker enabler. I don't think he's that great this game.
That is true, but you know, to be fair, the Dark Ascension, the nighttime flying vision is pretty ridiculous, right? Even if he's kind of standing still, it's going to force Beast Coast well back and well away. Otherwise, Tinker's going to get all that vision. So,
sure.
You know, yeah, I agree. It's not going to be probably the run at you Night Stalker until he gets BKB and Blink Dagger and really tanks up, like Lyrical said in the panel. But, you know, he's still going to have a little bit of utility. Beast Coast would do well to still mine the gap. When that ultimate is up, you know, ruptured or not, just because you know, Tinker players, that's what they live for. They just want to refresh and spam W. Right.
The reality is, I think that the Tinker is going to be like how they deal with the Tinker is the real threat, and to a degree, what concerns me about this for NoPing is that it's more of a Beast Coast versus Beast Coast game. Like if they misplay into Tinker, it's up to them, right? It's not really something that NoPing can force out because of the lack of stuns, except for like Bane. You know, Kunkka can somewhat do something in the early game. Once BKBs comes out, you're done. So
Making a Tinker.
Yeah,
he's TV down bottom.
Hector, what are you doing? Oh, he's being body blocked here, but he has enough thirst to get away. In fact, they even have Schofield coming in. Gojira now. Big Kaiju fan here.
Kaiju just means monster, right? Is Gojira one of like... I know there's like Mothma, Godzilla.
Yeah, Gojira is like the original. He's Godzilla. So he's like the big... Yeah, Gojira is the Japanese name for Godzilla. So he's like the original Kaiju. Yeah. And Kaiju in popular culture refers to those kind of monsters more than anything, right? Like you don't go and say, you know, like if someone's really mean, you won't go and say he's a Kaiju.
But if someone like Echo slams you or, I don't know, is creating all this space, you might call him Gojira, right? Because look at him.
Yes.
Look at him go.
Yes, exactly. Look at all these military men trying to bring him down, but he's too good. He's too swift. Oh no, they caught him. Oh no, the weapons are strong enough.
Stinger just walks over. He's like, yeah, I was going to disrupt you, but actually I don't think I will.
Yeah, Monster for this game is like Bryan Cranston, right? He figured out the weak spot here for Gojira. He comes from a whole different country just to kill him. It's very apt.
Oh, goodness. Wait a second. Did he smile? I think he just cold snapped from low ground and gave up his ward. Okay, well, he didn't quite give it up. Whatever. He did it to interrupt the rearm, which, you know, it's a strat. 150 mana wasted right there.
Yeah. I don't know if he was thinking about the ward. Sometimes I think Chris does things without like thinking too much about the macro, right? And then he like gets back into the game. So or C Smile. I guess we should start calling him by his new name.
Yeah, C Smile. That's what I called him.
Yeah.
You're the one on a first name basis with him.
Yeah, it's C Smile so much longer, and I don't know how to shorten that. Is it Smile? Is it Mr. Smile? Right?
Mr.
I like
Smile.
Gojira though. I think Gojira is a wonderful name. Not just because
I do like Gojira. Yeah, I do like Gojira as well. Meteor Hammer build for Whisper.
Oh, he loves this. He was the innovator of Mars Meteor Hammer. He was the first one to do it in a competitive game. Actually did it in TI very commonly. So I love this build. I think it's really good for Mars because nowadays we're you've seen the shift right in the offlane where you're seeing a lot of these like freebie offlaners where you take the tower no matter what because you're either Meteor Hammer or Helm of the Dominator. Mars can't really do that. Mars puts pressure in the offlane, but if you have an offlaner that can rotate and defend the tower, like say Tide for example, or Night Stalker actually fulfills that too, because he can rotate and kill Mars. If you don't have Arena, you really don't have many options. So, especially if you're against strong laners like Kunkka, if you're against an offlaner that can rotate like a Mars, sorry, as a Night Stalker, as I'm talking about this though.
He's just dead. Yeah.
They didn't go for Monster though.
Used Tether a little early there, but does dodge the silence, breaks the Tether. A little bit unfortunate there. Analog is well scouted, farming a big old stack here. Singer is given chase. He needs probably more than one stack of the Shadow Poison, though, for the kill. 36 damage. Yeah, he's going to need a second as Analog continues to try and juke him over. But there's Gojira. Tumbler's toy or not, they will still find the kill.
And they're continuing to put pressure up top, right, without really sacrificing much. And it's difficult because Monster has nowhere to go. He's being destroyed in this lane due to the matchup, but he also can't go top to defend because Mars just does a Meteor Hammer. Now instead it's going to be Kunkka getting this kill. RDO with the Ghost Ship actually messes up the Nightmare there a little bit, but it's okay. RDO will get the kill and stop Whisper's constant siege. Important, however, this tier 1 will fall with one more Meteor Hammer hit, so it's not like they can save it for much longer. And Monster's not even close to taking the bottom tier 1.
So how does the Meteor Hammer build-up kind of differ from the... Because Mars, like you said, not really too much of a Helm builder, right? It doesn't really do that. But what he does do sometimes is go for the Armlet. Hold that thought. Singer is just going to die here. Hector's actually going to rotate on over. And they may even decide to contest this little stack that they have going on. Yeah, they can't defend it. Monster does have the ultimate ready. Analog as well, ready to spam some missiles. So they thought about it, and they will go for it. Arena of Blood is out, but so is the blood out from the rupture of Monster. The kill on the King Jungles comes first. Monster now slowed to a crawl. Here's all this disable you were talking about. They missed the hammer, but they still will be rewarded with the kill. And Analog only gets about a couple of salvos of missiles off, still basically full mana. It's going to leave Theo Licor then in a bad spot, as Whisper's already pinned him to the tree. You see Smile will lift him with a tornado and put him back down into the grave. Stack stolen and 3 free kills to boot, not to mention the ultimate used from NoPing. So Beast Coast, yeah, they're going to look immediately for an objective off of that.
Oh, Fissure almost caught Analog there.
Ooh.
Hey, you see Theo Licor, they're kind of desperately. He's like, I got double damage, guys. I'll bring him down. I'll bring him down. But it was, yeah, he's a level 5 bait. What are you going to accomplish there? You're asking about Whisper's build-up. I think the Armlet build is inherently of a hero that wants to go in and tank, right? That's the whole point of the Armlet build. If you notice, like Collapse's build, which was the guy who innovated that the most, he would always be at the right place, right time, always be the one like going in, and his arena was only secondary to the hero, right? Like he was more a big tank, and then on top of that, the threat of the arena would loom over the enemy team. And with this build, the arena is a much bigger part. Obviously, that's how you get kills. You have much more kill potential because you can actually Meteor Hammer once you spear someone to anything. So that's a big deal. And you're pretty great, especially at killing like squishy targets. So you're much more of a hunter, quote unquote. You have a much more initiation potential, and you also have a lot more push. So you are a bigger... Like, you're much better at proposing with this build than, say, with the Armlet build. With the Armlet, to a degree, you're a bit reactive because you lack initiation, so you're just kind of walking in and hope the enemy team engages on you and makes a misplay. This is much more a Beast Coast kind of game or kind of play where you know Hector is not going to do anything for the first 20 minutes but farm, so you need someone to actually make plays, and that's Whisper, obviously.
Yeah, and speaking of Hector's farm, I mean, he is farming away. Maelstrom, he's almost got maxed Blood Rage now, so his farm is going to continue exploding here, especially as he goes into the... Yasha, just a casual Yasha first.
Yeah, SNY always. Yeah, SNY always.
Okay, they actually catch Monster with an arena top. However, Whisper setting up for the kill will have it just with the right clicks alone. Connected on the Meteor Hammer, but they're fighting in the river. They get C-Smile and his courier.
No. I mean, there's the kill potential I talked about with Mars, right? Meteor Hammer plus the arena, and he got a great solo kill. However, C-Smile maybe a bit too overly aggressive. He is Quaz, Wex, Invoker. He's allowed to do these things. It's okay. But... ideally, you don't die, right? It will happen sometimes.
That was the Blink Dagger quote-unquote reveal on Tinker as well, as he now has that one finished. And Beast Coast are actually looking to defend this bottom tier 1 tower. They're going to get the disruption onto RDO. The Ulecor is going to... Well, he already used Fiend's Grip for that kill earlier. RDO gets the rum buff as he is hit with the Rupture. Monster as well showing up to fight. Tinker is going to be TPing on in, so get ready for a barrage of missiles. Here they come. C-Smile's going to eat the first salvo. So far, NoPing have managed to reset, and they've gotten through this Rupture, as well as getting through this Invoker a second time.
Yeah, I'd say. Remember what I told you? It's just Beast Coast versus Beast Coast. That was a good example of Beast Coast trumping Beast Coast. Really, that was like the Rupture against Kunkka. There's not much purpose to do that ever on Kunkka. I can understand the point on an IO, for example, on a Tinker. Again, if you can like actually go and run at him. But against the Kunkka, he has the Rum buff, so your actual Rupture residual damage won't be very high, especially at level 1, which is not very good. On top of that, he's just very tanky. He doesn't have to move very much. He's a good hero at holding his ground because he has a lot of area control, like Torrent and Ghost Ship. Don't Rupture. Even if you think you can kill, just don't Rupture, right? Unless you have an Arena combo ready to go in that very second, which you didn't because Arena was on cooldown, don't Rupture. And once that happens, leave. You know, you Ruptured him. Oh no, I clicked the wrong hero. Just leave.
Yep. Yeah, Chris Smile. C-Smile. C-Smile, Chris Smile, C-Smile. He ends up TPing in. Yeah, it takes a second death, which is going to end up hurting him a lot, right? Because he's now in this transitionary period where he's gone for the full Vessel. Got this Midas in the quick buy. Would like to, you know, farm this Midas, getting these kills with Vessel. You got some pretty tanky heroes, actually, that Vessel will shoot through, but really no chance. At the very least for Beast Coast, it is going to be the tower defended, as NoPing will not look to contest any further that bottom tier 1 tower.
I mean, this bottom tier 1, in general, the lack of push on NoPing is showing, and it's really good for Beast Coast that they at least still hold the map control to this degree. Whisper has to now try to maybe put more pressure into the mid if they could afford this, and they could even like drop bottom tier 1 for the mid tier 1. Now, though, it's the classic play where position 4 stays bottom, or the dead lane rather now. He dies to this, but he creates some space in the meanwhile. Maybe he doesn't even die because he's skull-fueled. Oh, Echo Slam? He's still alive. It's the 2 supports versus the world for now. RDO will try to TP on this Nightmare. Gojira will die to the IO, and they will be able to get away. But only 2 supports sacrificed for this rotation, honestly. I'm surprised they didn't put more people in there. They actually had a lot of chances.
Yeah. Oh, nice X-Mark play there. They're going to bring back the Wisp and ensure that it's just going to be the 1-for-0 trade. Echo Slime used. NoPing now. They're going to be able to basically safely wait for this next Dark Ascension without having to fear too much this team fight coming from Beast Coast. Although, as I say that, they will smoke. That's because there's a Blink Dagger now ready for Whisper. Arena of Blood ready to go. They're going to head right into the triangle where NoPing themselves have smoked. Dabo, we're about to fight. Or not. Or not. Chris, his smoke is going to break, and he's going to keep on trucking.
Where NoPing themselves are set up. Avo, this is going to be the fight of your life, my friend.
This is huge. 2 freight trains on a track heading right towards each other. One has departed the station at 55 miles an hour. Oh, okay, there they go. They've gone. Okay.
Yeah, but you forgot a very key point here. One of the freight trains is Hispanic, so it will never reach the station. It's stuck in the middle. It's broken down. So that's what just happened, my friend.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, it never showed up on time. It didn't even show up. No one's even sure. They're not refunding the ticket money.
Oh, of course not. You know, in Spain, there's actually a rule that says if it's not 8 hours late, they don't refund you. And I'm like, what is this 8-hour massive margin? It's wild. Anyway.
For another meaty hammer, you'll have the tower.
Yep, he has Blink, actually. Yeah, that's good. The denial doesn't matter, right? It's all about taking the area. Oh, what a spear as well.
Yeah. Going to cost him the ward, as Whisper's going to be forced back. The fresh Observer ward, not going to matter too much, right? The early Roche threat from both teams is just meh. You know, it basically requires a full 5-man wipe if they want to even consider Roche at this point. So, not too big a deal. For now, though, Hector is continuing to just farm up. He's got the BKB nearly finished, actually. He decided to... I think he's going to fight early, actually, because he's decided to hold off on finishing the Yasha for now in favor of getting this BKB online first.
I think that's the right option for the Bloodseeker this game. Usually you want BKB and Santi and Yasha, and because Hector is a god, he usually gets it by minute 20. That's like the ideal timing. 20, it's a very... the minute 20 mark for Bloodseeker has become kind of standard. It's very similar to like minute 15 for Anti-Mage, right? Like there's just certain timings for heroes that you expect a certain amount of itemization. And I think if you don't get the BKB by then, you do fall off pretty hard because you don't get to use your power spike then. So even though I'm a big fan of Bloodseeker's SNY, getting it and to secure it and then maybe going for SNY is, in my opinion, the right choice. And he's even going to consider Lincoln's afterwards, which is going to be pretty great against the Fiend's Grip. The only real threat against the Bloodseeker once he's BKB'd, right? He'll just run at the Tinker easily. Nightstalker does nothing. Kunkka does nothing against him because he can't chase after him. And Hector will be vulnerable once he gets that Lincoln's. A bit defensive build, though, for Hector.
Very quickly as well, Gojira now, he's been upgraded. Oh, okay, Hector's just going to BKB and just kill Theo Licor. All right, Hector, go off, King. I guess he really wanted to get that kill. He did not want to be nightmared.
Look, I'd rather you rupture the Bane than you rupture the Kunkka, so I'm happy with that one, honestly.
Well, I'm sure, yeah, fair enough, right? He's like, well, I committed rupture, might as well commit the BKB. Well, Gojira has been upgraded. He's got Blink Dagger as well now ready to go. I thought we were going to smoke and fight with this BKB, with this Blink, and actually they're still going to look for the fight.
Odd. Whisper being chased down after. There's the missile after missile after missile. Whisper has a Blink Dagger. Nice Tornado to disengage. Stinger here. Oh, the Echo Slam! They set up for this. Night Stalker's down together with King Jungles here. Gojira might die, but he's already used his ultimate, so he's happy to die here for the team. And the Spear actually hits Analog with a Blood Right, hitting him right afterwards, silencing him and destroying him. beastcoast will sack their supports, but in exchange, they'll get 2 cores and a freebie IO.
Yep. Big fight for them. NoPing, they just end up taking this lopsided fight. You were surprised. I'm not sure what you were surprised by at the start of that fight. Maybe for how far beastcoast was seemingly diving, for how far Whisper was going in. But it was all a bait, right? They knew they had the numbers.
No BKB on the Bloodseeker. I'd expect for you to play more defensively. You didn't have Rupture or BKB. You didn't have Arena. You had no ultimates. And they were like, you know what? Yeah, it's a time. It's a time to fight.
That's true. I'd like to harken back to something that Lyrical said during the draft, which was, you know, they really only have problems once Tinker has like 2 or 3 items. He's still farming up this Ag Scepter. Now, it'll likely be up by the time they fight next, unless beastcoast just force another fight right now, which, you know, looking at their drawings on the map, they just might. But, you know, this Tinker not yet fully online, just with the Blink Dagger. He's not really getting these spells out. He's just gotten Rearm level 2. So, you know, he's still got room to grow here for NoPing. So I think beastcoast actually doing a pretty good job kind of realizing this Tinker's not that big of a problem yet.
Yes. Yeah. I completely agree with that. I think that's a very good analysis. I think the beastcoast is playing more aggressive than you'd expect them to, just because they know that Analog is not doing as well as he should be. They also don't see the Kunkka as a threat. Honestly, like, RDO has not have the impact I expect from a Kunkka carry. No. I don't know if it's RDO's fault. It is not the kind of hero I'd expect him on, to be honest, because he's a kind of like hyper carry player, right? He's the I'll carry your game, do not worry, with a TV style. I feel like his plays have been slightly on the defensive side. Like in that fight, right, in the triangle, you just canceled the Bloodseeker's BKB. All of a sudden, he's super vulnerable to the X or any sort of X combo, right? But he's not the one leading. It's IO Nightstalker. But why? They're the ones that are most vulnerable. If you Echo Slam the Kunkka, who cares, right? He has BKB. He also is Kunkka. He's super tanky. He should be the one leading and doing that role of an offlaner where you give vision by just existing. Where Nightstalker IO maybe are dealing with the backlines to a degree. But he was the later one. So
yeah, I get you. Nightstalker IO are kind of, you know, still with the ulti active, kind of just being this kind of buffer space, right? It gives Tinker the confidence that he's not going to be outflanked by a speedy Bloodseeker because you're going to see him coming. While the Kunkka gives you that frontline vision. And especially because Monster has not been having such a good game. I mean, he barely just has Echo Saber completed. This is going to increase his farming speed at the very least. But without BKB, he's incredibly vulnerable to basically everything that beastcoast has to throw at him.
Yeah, in a usual match, I think that Soccer running at you is always perfect. But in this game, with so much disengaged, like Tornado, with the threat of the Echo Slam, which always going to threaten the IO and his partner, it's a bit rougher. The Olikota will die here to the Meteor Hammer. I think RDO needs to take that protagonist role of a tank much more, and he's not particularly doing that in the fights. I think his timing in the fights is the timing I would expect from a Sven or from a TB or Spectre, not from a Kunkka, right? And that maybe is more of a call to RDO's playstyle and the kind of heroes he usually plays.
Yeah, I think you're hitting something there, actually. That sounds pretty good because it's like something more like Kunkka is not really the same kind of hero where you come in with a God Strength, you come in with a meta, you make a little bit of a difference, you continue farming with the rest of that ulti.
Yep.
He's got a combo and he's there to execute the combo.
Yep.
And now he's got BKB, so perhaps RDO can a little bit more confidently get this combo off. Most of the safe lane Kunkkas I end up seeing just taking a peek at the Dota 2 Pro Tracker builds for safe lane Kunkkas, of which, by the way, he's played 40% of the time now, apparently. when he is picked.
It's kind of bonkers.
Yeah, he's-
Russians really like it.
Yeah, as well as Carl. Hold that thought, they're fighting. They catch Hector
Carl.
into the Fiend's grip. Oh, in fact, Hector's just alone. Okay, there he goes. Singer's here for the save temporarily. Hector, he's going to get the BKB off, but so will RDO.
Manta.
Missiles continuing to come on in as RDO will now be ruptured, and a good fissure there is going to trap Whisper as well as keep RDO out of the fight. Whisper hit by the Torrent. A couple more missiles saved by the Glimmer Cape, though. He's going to be A-okay, and just a good save there by Stinger.
I want to hear the hot mic for that. You know how Beast Coast releases their team comms for a lot of games, and there's called the hot mic, right? I want to hear that for whatever happened in that fissure with Whisper, because he's like a very calm dude, but he will sometimes make the passive-aggressive statement. Like, I imagine him saying something like, "Oh yeah, thank you for that fissure. No, that's very nice. Thank you. No, I appreciate that."
Very good save.
funny.
Nice job saving our carry.
yeah, he will say that, something like that. Yeah. He's not the kind to flame, but he will make a snide comment like that. It worked out though. It was really good. I think Hector's choice to go for Manta was also a really interesting one to get rid of the laser as well. So he always had that to avoid missiles and laser instead of the SMY. I don't think they want to kill a Tinker. I think they just want to take tower if possible.
Yeah. They're ready though. They're absolutely ready for a Tinker. Whisper says, "Excuse me, Shaker, you're in my way."
And he's like, "I'll block you. Don't make me block you again." See, it's really there's even infighting in Beast Coast. They're the only ones that can take their team down.
Yeah, I mean, this team, they've got it all, right? They've got the infighting, the drama, they've got the high-level plays, they've got the high-level throws. I mean, you know, it's great. It's a great team to watch. Great region. Unironically. SA Dota, some of the best.
I mean, the interactions between this team, right? We always call them sociopaths. I think they have very interesting personalities on Beast Coast. I bet you that when he fissured block, for example, the kind of thing that Schofield will say, because he doesn't speak very much, he would like probably quote a rap line because he loves rap battles. Something about stopping someone or you hit a wall or something. That's the kind of player that he is. That or he laughs. Yeah.
Interesting.
He does this a lot. Like they'll have a team discussion that's like very serious, you know. Like they could be having a team discussion about kicking a player, and he would quote a rap line, and it'd be like, "What? What does that mean?" Schofield is like, "I don't know. I just thought it sounded cool." And that's his contribution.
He's just here to drop some one-liners,
and they're good one-liners as well. Like they're like, "Ooh." The coach will usually say that he's the one with the coldest heart because he just destroys his self-esteem.
You know, that's funny. I thought for sure it might be like someone like Dark Mago in the SA scene who just has all of these, you know, reggaeton lyrics ready to go and lined up.
Yeah, but reggaeton is not clever. You know, reggaeton they're not clever lyrics. You know, whenever I meet people here in SCA and they listen to reggaeton, when we go to our salsa class and stuff, I always tell them, "You're very lucky you can't understand the lyrics. If you would not like to dance salsa if you understood the lyrics, especially as a woman, you would not like it."
Just want to make it clear, when you say we go to salsa class, that'd be you and your girlfriend and not me and you.
Just, no, it means me and you. No, you don't have to be ashamed about it. Also, I don't call you my girlfriend on stream, Richie, only privately. Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, we'll discuss that during our next ballroom dancing class then, shall we?
Yes. We have tango next Tuesday, don't forget. Anyway, I think Hector is also going to be going for that shard. He's one of the few Bloodseekers in carry that actually picks it up. Thank God. He thinks it's strong. That's why I'm a big fan of his Bloodseeker. And I think with this game, the shard will be a turning point between him and Kunkka. I will remind people that shard on Blood Rage does not break BKB. So if you have BKB activated, you don't get the extra damage on shard. In case people aren't aware, shard gives you 2% of the enemy's max HP as damage every hit. Does not pierce BKB, which means Kunkka will have like solid 8 seconds of not dying to Hector. But if you just kite him effectively like he's been doing until now, you wait out the BKB and you kill him afterwards. No big deal. You will even be able to rupture him once you have enough levels, and now you do, to kill the Kunkka.
Nice Sunstrike for the vision, as the Core is going to avoid that Spear of the Arena. However, it'll stop him in his tracks, and they're going to set up for a very easy kill onto him. Beast Coast happy with that. Might turn back for Roche, might look to continue pushing. There is a 25-minute wagon coming, but they're more interested in the threat for Roche.
Do they have any minus armor? They do not, right? No.
Well, they've got the Forge Spirits. Those count against Roche? Yes. Yeah, okay.
That
do they not?
Bloodseeker. I don't think they trigger a Melting Strike.
No, it's only hero armor. Okay.
I mean, they have Bloodseeker. He's decent. He's one of the better Roche heroes. Just because he farms so fast. It's not even really because of the spells, right? Like, Blood Rage is nice, but it's just like he farms so quickly that
was
eventually
so
has
fast.
way too many items. Yeah. He has Lincolns now, which is fantastic. So now he doesn't. They don't have to kill the Bane every single start of the fight, which they've been doing.
Yeah, he's kind of been this lone threat here. No longer. He actually almost got ended up getting a contactor earlier. Of course, they had the team to TP on in and rotate and save him. Monster nearly has BKB finished up here. Needs about another 800 gold. That's going to be a pretty big item for him. If he can get that by the time that Beast Coast come looking for high ground, I think NoPing stand a pretty serious chance here. Not to mention this Ag Scepter finished for Analog. Like, the items are coming along for NoPing. An item that will not be coming, however, is this Ag Scepter for Bane, Theolicor. You can dream. That one's not happening, unfortunately. Bane just does not farm.
Very, very tall order, especially because he didn't go for the shard either. He went for the Aetherland, so full greed on this build. And he will die, I think, once again. Just send the Forge Spirits? Sunstrike?
Yep. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Wow. What a calculation.
Already
And Hector's like, what are
hunted.
we doing? Just push. We have ages.
His Silver Edge, and he's going to get a kill. Okay, nice.
Oh, but they're taking your towers, RDO. I think you ought to go back. Tinker's coming back in time, but Analog will be able to defend this. There's the axe. Montestyle to dispel it. Here comes Monster. Melee ruptured. Lincolns.
Oh, they got
Hector will
Analog.
save himself. Oh, they did get him. Sunstrike on top of this. Hector comes back in. He wants to heal off Analog, but the IO heals him instead, and King Jungles sends Analog away. Hector will be able to outrun RDO, though. As C-Smile sets up the MP, they force the BKB and RDO. They're cutting his BKB now. There's no Mnemonic Purge anymore. Blood Right to protect Stinger. As he also disrupts himself to prevent the Torrent from hitting, but the Torrent's actually perfectly calculated into the laser using the vision from the Torrent. Well done. Hector doesn't want to fight this any longer. In comes Gojira, however. He does have the Echo Slam. They might want to re-engage this.
Yeah, they could, especially without BKB on RDO. They could basically 100-0 with a good stun. That Silver Edge, a bit of a surprise there to Gojira. But once again, this is the second time. I didn't comment on it the first time because it didn't matter. Oh, here goes C-Smile. They didn't let him get the kill onto the Tinker top lane. He was saved, I think, either by the God's Rebuke or the Spear, but he'll get the solo kill now as he rotates down bottom with the bots. Easily picks up the kill.
He was saved by the relocate top.
Well, the relocate came after the Sunstrike missed because someone pushed him.
What was that? What happened? They pushed him out, and that's why Sunstrike didn't hit, and then he survived because of that?
Yeah, well, and then he survived because Wisp healed him, right? Like the Wisp still was huge, but the Wisp, I think he had to wait for Tether to come back. It happened here as well, kind of where Hector's walking up to the high ground. They scouted him with Sunstrike and it almost hit him, and then Whisper pushed him with the spear, but it didn't matter because he was like 50 HP, and that time there was no Wisp to save him. And again,
sorry, this is a very interesting conversation. So RDO said, server is bad, I don't know, freezing a lot. So obviously you guys understand that. And then Hector said, Steven didn't speak. I don't know what speak means in this context. I have no clue. Obviously C-Smile saying they also have lag. And then Hector says, we're not worth anything, us Peruvians. I guess because he has lag. So yeah, there you go. Hector, disregarding Peruvians.
Is PS shorthand for pues?
Yes. Well, it's PES, right? Because you're Peruvian, so you have to add it at the end of each sentence.
Okay, today I learned.
Yeah, pues is like the biggest verbal crutch the Peruvians have in their Spanish. They even say pe sometimes. They don't even say pues. That's how commonly they say it.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I could never figure that one out in my
pues
USC
is well
pubs.
for you English speakers, by the way.
Yes,
but it's how when Peruvian speakers use it, it's not necessarily well.
Answer. Okay, for now, Gojira's going to be slept. Whisper thinking about making the jump in with the Blink Dagger, BKB both ready to go, and he's going to do it. Bane down to the low ground, right next to Gojira, into the Sunstrike. This time, Whisper is not going to push him out. They've got the kill.
Yeah. You see, the Japanese kaiju is stronger than the American monster here.
Wait, which one's the American monster?
Well, the Night Stalker, whose name is a monster, is American.
Oh, I mean, fair enough, I suppose.
He's also a
Not
Night
American.
Stalker. He's like the biggest monster I can imagine. Like, he's a true Bakemono.
Okay.
RDO.
Oh, on the hunt?
He's walking among three. Oh, he only got one.
Whoa, big lag.
Big lag, but Stinger will die. There's a Rupture as well here, I think, onto Monster. They gotta save him. Oh, there's the Blood Right, though. That's gonna kill King Jungles. Monster will die as well, fighting head-on with K1. It's not gonna be the wisest thing. There's this lag spike. He disconnects. Frez. It's frezzing for them.
Oh,
That's really unfortunate.
Good positioning by Analog. I actually don't know if they get him here. They can hit him. There's an arena. Okay, the arena is going to be the problem. Theolicor nearby with a Fiend's Group, with a Nightmare. RDO has only X marks, as well as his own BKB to try and stop anything from happening. I'm not sure what Invoker has. He might have Tornado. If he's got Tornado, Analog is for sure dead. But I think that's going to be... he still might be dead anyway. Gojira's just going to close the gap and enchant Totem him. Ooh, rough blink for Analog. I was going to commend him because had he been in front of this little buffer building, Whisper just turns around and spears him, if he has it, that is. But he might have gone one blink too deep. The very classic Tinker problem.
I think you just Yules, and I think you got him, honestly. I think Analog's dead. C-Smile has, I don't know if he has Cold Snap, probably not. But we'll see what RDO can do, though, because RDO can maybe prevent this. There's the Yules. Oh, Fiend's Grip. Then he's gonna have the arena.
Oh,
look at that, RDO from behind. Absolutely mashed him. Hector wants to kill back up. He's not gonna get it, however. Useless Nightmare. Celebration for Theolicor. C-Smile setting up the Ice Wall. RDO. He now been hit by the Spirit Vessel. That actually hurts a fair amount. They also have the Blood Rage with the Shard this time. But Analog's the real threat. They don't want to fight RDO. Well, they don't want to fight Analog particularly. There we go. They have Dust. C-Smile. Didn't expect this. He thought only supports could fight beside him. They even Nightmare.
And the Nightmare. The TP from Theolicor. What a TP. He cut him off. Hector's completely alone.
And X? Oof, Lincoln saved him for a second. Manta style to divert the attention. And using the illusions for more thirst damage. Oh my god, they almost killed Stinger as well with a Tidebringer. Stinger might die, but Demonic Purge is 100% going to get the Spain unless they heal him in time. And that was King Jungles coming in clutch. Well done.
Whew. All right, some nice back and forth Dota here, chasing them all the way from their tier 3 tower, which is no longer standing top lane, so still a somewhat successful push out from Beast Coast to the top tier 1, which is still standing for Beast Coast, and before everyone starts respawning. Nice TP there. A really, really well played fight from Theolicor, interrupting that arena, TP into the outpost, almost setting up for the kill there onto Hector. I suppose the second kill, right, because they did get his Aegis there in that siege. Really, really good fight for NoPing. Pretty decent hold, all things considered.
No, I think that was a bit of a mistake against my Peace Calls. Like, they overextended it pretty heavily. They had a bit of a pause brain thing, right? But after you pause, you're like, what was I even doing? Oh, but now they did catch a Tinker. Arena.
Okay, this time.
Send them flying. Meteor Hammer as well. Analog.
It's a Nightmare.
Did they have enough damage? They don't, actually. He's going to save himself for now. That's where the Echo Slam comes in. King Jungles dies immediately. Came to heal, instead just added Echo Slam damage.
Yeah, the creep wave as well ended up just running in there. They were trapped inside the arena along with everyone else, and they were very eager to get into battle, only to add something like 400 damage to that Echo Slam. Beast Coast now, there's blood in the water. They're on the chase, and we'll see how far they want to go. Monster and RDO a little bit too far, though. They will be able to get back up to the high ground at the very least. RDO's extremely tanky now, isn't he? He's got this full armlet, BKB, and now this full AC as well as the Titan Sliver. So he is pretty difficult to take down. Tinker's got buyback in 30 seconds. But I don't think this mid tower is going to last nearly that long. I suppose Tinker has buyback right now, but he's also going to be respawning in 30 seconds. Monster, they're going to make the jump to him. He's got BKB, he's going to activate it. RDO is going to get the cleave kill there onto Gojira, immediately dead as Hector forces back Monster. The buyback now from Analog as well as Gojira as Hector's BKB is wearing off. He's going to be forced back as Whisper pops his. No arena for 20 seconds means he's just going to have to blink back. That's at least buyback forced from the Tinker.
Yeah, that's an uncharacteristic play by Beast Claw. So you saw discipline there, which is not very common. So I think that was the right play. Once you use your BKB there, Tinker's just scary. You don't have arena. You kind of need the arena to really initiate on Tinker properly. They got to kill Analog. Right? No longer is RDO the threat, but RDO's playing this, like, he's playing his position well now. Because he's just kind of surprising them with occasional quits on the back lines. He knows he's kind of unkillable and he's being ignored, so he just kind of tries to hit them with big Tidebringers, something that most Konkas don't have the privilege to be able to do. So his build is perfect as well, is what I suggested in the beginning. I think RDO is understanding his position finally. He's playing very comfortable in this late game.
Yeah, I think he's just on this kind of hero, at least the Kunkka, it's a very item-based hero, right? You just need the item, especially on a safe lane Kunkka where you're not getting a fast level 6. You're not going to be allowed to, rotate to a lane and get a free kill with a boat. That's just not happening because you're in a long lane sharing XP. So not really a hero that can play off of his normal kind of skills. unlike, you know, a Sven, unlike a TB, like we mentioned earlier. So I agree. I think he's coming in nicely to this Kunkka hero now. And Analog, after buying back as well, is starting to hurt a lot more. Aether Lens into BKB next for Analog. Now, he's just bought back, so he just needs the 600 gold, and he'll be purchasing that item basically immediately. So this item almost completed here as well for the Tinker. Ujira is on Roshan duty, one monster to another.
Yeah. He can sense it, right, when the Roshan Kaiju comes to life, right? I'm so excited that Beastco is a team of weebs. You know, C Smile is also a reference to One Piece, right? So it's just this team really gets you. Yeah.
Well, they might get you.
They just get anyone, right? Like, to be honest, if you don't like One Piece, are you really a person? I'm not sure. I think C Smile transmits the feelings of Eiichiro Oda perfectly.
I see.
Yeah.
Nice little cleave there onto Ector.
You didn't understand what I said there. Just a bunch of weeb talk to you, huh?
I guess so. You know,
it's a reference to the smile fruits in the Odin arc, right? That's what it is.
the Odin arc, of course.
Yeah.
No, I think you know, Odin already had to gouge one of his eyes out. I think if you try and show me any more anime, I might have to do it to my other eye here, Avo.
What? I don't even know what that means.
Odin? The one-eyed Norse mythology man?
No, this is Odin, like the pot of soup the Japanese people like to eat. Like the vegetable soup. Yeah, Odin's different.
Hector is
BKB?
completely alone.
I don't think he cares. He just ruptured that stalker, and there's a TP from Whisper.
Yeah, they are going to do well to cancel that into the Fiend's grip. No one here to cancel the Fiend's grip, so Whisper's just dead. Rupture now ending. They've got plenty of vision. BKB active as well for Analog, and that's going to give him the confidence to go even further. Finally, a jump here onto the backlines for Monsters. He will chew through the support, Shadow Demon. The rest of Beast Coast have retreated behind their Tier 1 towers. This might be Roche. It's not up quite yet. Oh, there's going to be no Whisper for about 20 seconds when Roche does eventually respawn. So Odin is a bowl?
What? Odin is a vegetable broth. It's like a food, yeah, from Japan. Anyway, NoPing. So I can tell you what the comms are like there for Beast Coast. Whisper was TPing on the maybe 4th second of the TP goes, guys, what's the plan? And Stinger goes, plan? Oh shit, you're TP. Because he wasn't there to save him from the Fiend's grip. He came way too late. I mean, wasn't even close. So I don't know what the plan there was if Mars gets caught. They have nothing else to cancel the Fiend's grip for Shadow Demon. Gojira wasn't that close either. I don't know. It was a very odd play. And Beast Coast are doing it. They're really really throwing. NoPing is getting a lot of chances here. The stronger the Tinker gets, the easier it becomes for NoPing. It's not really the Kunkka they have to be afraid of, or his tempo, or whatever. Like, Kunkka's done his job. It's now the Tinker is becoming a real threat, and Analog is scarier and scarier because they have nobody to just run at him like a Storm or an Ember or a Void Spirit.
Yeah, RDO, he's decided to take the Ghost Ship fleet, by the way. Gojira's blinked up here, so he has got no way back down unless the team comes in to save him. That's what Whisper intends to do with the blink on in. Oh my goodness, the hammer finds King Jungle's Echo Slam. That's going to finally be enough damage to get through King Jungle's. He got off the mech heal, though, for Monster. Allows him to live a bit longer. That's going to burn the duration of Hector's BKB as they force RDO outside of the Blood Right. Oh my goodness, the attack speed. They chew right through that first life as Theo Lecor is going to be allowed to at least TP on in. Analog, who blinks a second time. Double buybacks now from NoPing as RDO does manage. Yeah, at least, where is he? He's still fighting, is he? No, he's not.
No, he's going back. Hector just died here. They're going in now for Whisper. They send him back. Whisper has no BKB, so he's just vulnerable to RDO damage. Goodbye, Whisper. NoPing might win this. These team fights are getting harder and harder. They're playing them really haphazardly. It's not very good for the lineup because they kind of want a more consistent team fight. But against Tinker and Kunkka, you don't really get that. Night Stalker is getting tankier, so he's not as vulnerable anymore.
It's his third item. Oh.
Yeah.
It's his third item for Tinker, right? All of a sudden, they just have such a hard time getting on top of him.
But just rupture Monster almost every single fight. And then just run at the Tinker. At this point, it's your only goal. I don't know how else you do this. You either, I mean, you can also go Cataclysm. That's the other option. You go Ags on the Invoker, and you always hope for like a good initiation by Whisper. It's not that unlikely considering, he's a good player. He just needs to spear someone to a wall. I don't think that you are in a position right now as Beast Coast to take any more of these engagements, though. You will lose your lead.
Yeah, there's a Divine Rapier now for RDO, not to mention. So
That's
he's looking for
huge.
these big old crits. I don't know if he planned on this, because he decided to go for Ghost Ship Fleet instead for the talents. I thought for sure he was going to end up going for the Tidebringer cooldown. But I guess when you're playing, well, previously anyway, you were playing mostly around the Silver Edge guaranteed crit. I guess the Fleet makes a little bit more sense in the team fights.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
much better.
Oh, RDO.
He does see him. He does see him. There's the Yules. Oh, they take this. Oh my god. The Fissure blocked him despite his BKP. That was a really good TP. You just needed to go.
Yeah. And off he goes.
And he revealed his rapier there, obviously. So they did see them. He just wants to fight head on, right? The Kunkka at this point is just becoming a nuisance. And as long as he fights head on, I don't think the Tidebringer cleave is that good of a talent. Or sorry, the Tidebringer cooldown.
Cooldown.
Because like 2 seconds is whatever when you're already hitting. Like, because it doesn't deal that much extra damage anymore to their main target. That's your goal, right? The cleave is not a big deal because when you're carrying, you can't be worried about where you're positioned, right? As a Kunkka. So you just kind of cleave whatever you can. Obviously, yes, ideally you kill support or whatever, but it's hard to get the godlike Tidebringer unless you're really playing for it. So I think this is a better talent. Ghost Ship Fleet is always good. It's kind of broken talent, to be honest.
You just really like the Armadas, don't you?
I mean, you know, as a Spaniard, it's part of my contract. We had the Invincible Armada, so...
The Invincible. Against the
Only
High
lost
Seas
one
fleet
battle.
of Kunkka.
Only lost one battle. Yeah, what was the British captain called? Prince Sir
Trafalgar?
Francis
I don't know.
Bacon.
What was it?
Yeah, I think it was
listen,
Bacon.
dude,
who
I
did
don't
this.
know. I don't know British history. You're gonna have to miss me with that one. It's much like the anime discussion we just had. RDO though, he is basically an anime protagonist this game, isn't he? 10-0 and 8. You know, we were a little bit critical of not critical, right? But maybe critical. We'll just say critical. It's the easiest word to use of how he was playing the early game, right? Not really having
Francis
too much
Drake.
of an impact.
Sorry.
Sorry.
It was Sir Francis Drake. I'm sorry, another pirate turned into British admiral, not Bacon.
Okay.
I apologize.
But RDO certainly, I mean, if they end up winning this game, he's going to be knighted by NoPing. I mean, he's done an amazing job into the late game here, hasn't he? Especially now with this rapier. Game's kind of, you know, I think Lacoste and Lyrical was saying how this is mostly the Tinker's game, and I think for the first, 38 minutes, I completely agree with him. I think now RDO is going to be able to perhaps lighten the load here of the Tinker a bit. How do they kill him?
Yeah, I mean, with the shard it's easy, right? But you have to really play this team fight properly. You have to really kite them properly. Oh, this is never good. When someone resumes the game. Okay, there we go. Yeah, like, I think RDO, because he's been doing his job so magnificently, Beastcoast has kind of forgotten to itemize against him. I think the shard should be enough on Bloodseeker, mind you, but they have to really kite his BKB. And they're struggling to pay attention to Monster and killing him, making sure he doesn't give vision to the Tinker. Killing the Tinker, because that's always been the biggest problem they're facing. And then also dealing with RDO halfway through. They don't have enough, really. That's why I thought Cataclysm might be good. Because at this point, I think their mind is being a bit overloaded. And I'm not saying this is a criticism to Beast Coast. I think it's common for humans, after all. And if you just eliminate one target immediately as the start of the fight with like a Cataclysm combo, all of a sudden the fight becomes much easier for you to play. Because either you kite the Kunkka, or you run at the Tinker, or Night Stalker exists, right? He doesn't do much.
Yeah.
So it's much easier for you to actually go and perform. You don't have to be worried about IO and Bane saves either, depending on what you kill.
I think that makes a lot of sense, actually. And well, C-Smile is building into this. I accepted for the Cataclysm quite soon. At level 25 talent now as well. Has not taken the surround sound deafening blast. He's gone for the Blast Wex Exhort passive effect. So plenty of move speed now here for Invoker. Quite zippy with these Wex Orbs, as there's the G and the unpause. So Aegis has already been claimed. The next Roche not up for at least another 4.5 minutes, up to 7.5.
I don't know if you wait for it. Honestly, if you're Beast Coast, you are losing steam pretty hard. It has to be Invoker, really. If you are waiting for this next Roche, just because you either think you can end it with the next Roche, which is fine, or alternatively you think that the Invoker is going to start to scale and match up for the lack. Because it's not like Bloodseeker has fallen off compared to the Kunkka, right? But Bloodseeker alone cannot outcarry a Kunkka and a Tinker. You need some help from the other cores. And Mars, because of the Meteor Hammer build, it's not very much a scaling core.
Axis delivered. Axis delivered. There's Cataclysm if they need it.
Okay, that's a big deal. It's a very big deal. They're disruption. Oh, Fiend Script into Hector. There's the Cataclysm. Hector's gonna die, though. That's it. That's a team fight done. Beast goes to retreat here. They only get 1 kill. It's on the Bane. It's not even good. C-Smile, immediate BKB, Ghost Walk retreat. They see him. They've dusted him. C-Smile's in trouble. He has a Deafening Blast still to at least create some more space against Monster. And actually, he might not be that screwed. He still has a Blink Dagger. They just canceled it for him, though. Took too long to use the Blink Dagger, and they punished him as a result. What a bad fight.
Yep. BKB, man. BKB on Bane means that they just have to get through him with the Cataclysm. It's just not enough damage. I think he just eats those 2 beams, and he's still channeling that Fiend's Grip, so Hector has got no save for himself. Oh, East Coast, they're going to lose 4. They only pick up the Bane, and that was the Cataclysm fight. You know, that's why I was so eager to mention it. I thought that was going to be the somewhat nail in the coffin here for NoPing, but once again, they just find Hector farming away.
Oof. Yeah, I don't... That team fight, like, if Hector gets BKB off, right, and then all of a sudden they've canceled his Lincolns before BKB, because you have nothing else to cancel Lincolns with, right, once he has BKB off?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, you don't. You don't. You can't cancel Lincolns with just BKB. So... Oh, Gojira? I don't know what that... Ah, nice. Good deal, Scepter. That was the play. So because of that, if you get BKB, you can't disrupt the target, right? So he has to make sure that he only gets BKB once the Lincolns has, like, as long as the Lincolns has not been popped. Otherwise, he's gonna die because he has no disruption to cancel that Fiend Script. And as you mentioned yourself, because of the Bane BKB, there's no other way to cancel that Fiend Script. So that was a little bit of a, I don't know, miscommunication or just a misplay in general. But again, this is the kind of beast codes where you go, are they gonna win the game? And then 60 minutes in, they somehow pull a miraculous play.
This is you know, this is where they like to be, right? They don't like winning with this big old net worth advantage, you know. What did Dota Plus say here at some stage? You know, 86%. No. We're underdogs. You know, give us closer to a 50-50 line, and then we'll go for it.
Yeah, Beast Coast is the bane of any caster because you're like, oh yeah, I'm going home early. Beast Coast versus a team that's bottom of the table. They should be able to beat them. And then 3 60-minute games, Beast Coast barely clutched it last second. You're like, well, how are you at the top of the table?
Yeah, Beast Coast 3-0 right now, so they could go 4-0 and tie themselves alongside for first with a win here. The Beast Coast also plays twice this week, so keep your eyes tuned onto the channel if you want to catch more exciting Beast Coast action. Because, ladies and gentlemen, like Avo was saying, this is just another day for them. This is just another game of Dota 2 for Beast Coast.
Yeah, they're very used to this at this point. I think they even have calls for these kind of plays. Oh, what did we rupture here? Hector is just going to fight RDO head-on. There's the Cataclysm as well. They do hit the Bane with a Cataclysm this time, and luckily no good Fiend Script, but they've still just stuck Hector down. They haven't been able to kill RDO just yet. Finally, they're going for him, and they managed to finish off the enemy carry with Night Stalker falling shortly after, as it's a really easy 2 for Hector, who was not disturbed by a pesky Bane this time. Well done.
King Jungles is unfortunately going to be scouted and killed, so he's not going to be able to make it out either. Disruption there for Stinger just to set up a little bit more. RDO buys back, and that's going to get Hector at least off of the high ground immediately. But perhaps unbeknownst to Beast Coast, he's the only one with buyback. No one else has it.
In case anyone was wondering, the line that Stinger used in the middle of that fight was, "What did I do to you, you crazy man? You madman? What did I do to you?" So pretty appropriate for the fact that they were trying to chase him for a while on that team fight and amounted to nothing, as they realized that neither him or Hector were killable.
And that's the difference in a fight where you get a Fiend's Grip off and a fight when you don't. Fiend's Grip on cooldown didn't hit anyone, at least didn't notice it hitting anyone. Was
it blocked by Lincolns?
It must have been. Either I mean, because he has BKB, right? Nothing else would have canceled it. Like, Fiend's Grip is one of those abilities, I mean, especially as a position 5 support, where you're like, I'm just going to use it. Like, even if I'm going to die to this Sunstrike, I just need to use it. Buy my team a little bit of time. Hector now holding down to the Rapier. RDO, he wants it back. The Shark's not going to hit, though, thanks to the BKB, as Hector is fighting right through him. But the Fiend's Grip, this time it's going to hit him. Canceled immediately, though, as Theo Licor still is going to allow Hector to recover his Divine Rapier. Cataclysm in the midst is only going to pick off the Bane, but he's got buyback. See Smile on the run. His Analog blinking after him is not going to be hit by that spear, but does not have the mana to give chase. Mega is pouring into the base here in favor of Beast Coast, but NoPing, they're going to hold on and live to fight another day.
Sometimes I feel like Beast Coast sometimes makes the call of, shit, guys, we're winning. What? What's happening here? Just go, throw. Because, I mean, Divine Reaper used to take the base, fantastic, right? But you take the last lane of Rax and you go, why are you still fighting this, right? The standard play by the book would be leave and wait for the Mega Creeps to do their job and eventually hunt them down, keep the Rapier. But now you give him a potential chance for the Rapier. As a Kunkka, he deals with Mega Creeps nicely, so...
Do Roche, because he could be up by now. You know this, because you've got to guide you, you know? Like...
Yep.
No. Rapier back into the hands of Kunkka. He's going to be renewed by this.
As well. 20 seconds to Roche.
15 seconds. Yeah, this would be third Roche. So Refresher or an Ag's Blessing. I think Refresher Shard would be probably preferred here for NoPing if they can get their hands on it.
I mean, Ag's Blessing on Kunkka I can imagine being pretty strong too, to be honest. Or even Bane, honestly. Considering how value Bane has been with those feed scripts. It is Ag's Blessing.
It is Axe Blessing. Yeah, I think this game, unfortunately, is just not that good. There's just a lot of AoE damage. Those illusions, they still take, what, 700% damage or something? Yeah. I mean, you got Shaker with Shard. He's going to clear those basically with one enchant
I think Torrenstorm is better. Because the question of him getting the Fiend script off has nothing to do with him being cancelled, right? It's more to do with the disruption being used.
Yeah, true.
You got a Refresher order on Hector. I love this with the Bloodseeker. Double Rupture. Refresher is just kind of OP right now.
Yep. Speaking of Refreshers, he smiles has one. Hector, he's finished his as well. Now will be rewarded with 4 Ruptures if and when they take this Roche, because it looks pretty much guaranteed right now.
Yeah, I'm assuming they do give it to Hector here. Maybe Stinger, honestly.
I was about to say maybe Stinger.
Yeah.
And I mean, Shadow Demon's got one of the best Ags in the game, full stop.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's worth. Like, yeah, it's fun to do like 4 Ruptures, but also win the game, guys, please. It's there's only so many throws you can commit, and I'll still like you as a team, right?
Yep.
And the number apparently it's ever increasing.
Yeah, he's just always cutting a break. You know, Avo, he's always cutting breaks for people.
As a caster, I'm like, they only thrown 8 times this game, Richie. Like, usually 8 is fine.
Usually they lose the game, but here's the thing about Beast Coast is that they win, and how could you not root for a team like that?
Yeah. They're honestly their biggest obstacle. It's crazy to watch their games and you go, I don't think the enemy team did anything this game. It was just Beast Coast losing, Beast Coast winning, Beast Coast losing, and NoPing existed for a large part of the game. They did the right plays, don't get me wrong, right? Especially RDO, I gotta commend, I think he played the Kunkka game really well. But at the end of the day, when the team fights went badly, it was Beast Coast making a important mistake, right?
Gojira's now got Wind Waker, best item, S-tier item for Aghanim's Lab, and perhaps even this game. As RDO, TPing on in. Hector, they're going to hit him with a Hex. Disruption there to save him. After the Torrent, there goes Stinger. He's going to break the Lincoln Sphere. There's a lot of damage onto RDO. Sunstrikes as well coming through from the Cataclysm. Saved briefly, however, as Analog trying to pump in a little bit more damage. Fiend's Grip is going to be there for Mars, but there's going to be Gojira there with the save to cancel it with the Wind Waker. C-Smile in the fight as the Fissure connecting onto 3, and there's the Echo Slime into the refreshed Cataclysm. Cata doesn't pick up any kills, though. King Jungle's still alive on the backlines. Whisper is going to be able to secure his life, however. Buying back, though, instantly is the Wisp, but in trouble is going to be Analog. He's going to have to buy back. Throne is under assault, however. They do have a Fortify to delay the game a little bit longer. Analog caught, trapped. Hector chewing right through him. Laser and the Hex buys him again more time, but Gojira right on top of him with a stun. They've got the kill, and that should be the game. Beast Coast, they're done. Get them out. 38-25, 50 minutes in, they're going to take game 1.
Yeah, what a performance. I think that you should be pretty happy about the game if you're NoPing, honestly. I mean, at least in terms of progression, I feel like the team is doing much better in these last few games that we've been seeing. The only problem I'm seeing with this is that usually we see Beast Coast lose the lanes and then they win the game because they have superior team fight. It's hard to accept, but I think most teams, especially in SA, should just accept that Beast Coast is the best team fighting team in the region. Maybe Thunder Predator can go toe-to-toe with them. The rest of them, you're going to get outclassed in most team fights, right? And NoPing did in many situations. So you losing the lanes particularly might not be the best of options. You literally had nothing to do this game as NoPing. And that seemed to be one of their issues. The first 20 minutes, 25 minutes of the game, they didn't seem like a team. And then afterwards, it started playing really well, but you already gave a lot of lead to Beast Coast, which made these throws not seem so major because they already had a lead to work with, right? And that might not have been the best.
Yeah, I'd like to hear the panel talk about it as well, but I think it just comes down to they were expecting Monster to kind of be that front liner for him. He gets shut down in the lane because of this Bloodseeker pick, and RDO just doesn't step up when I think he might have, should have, right? He probably should have stepped up a little bit there in those earlier team fights. You know, bringing the fight to Beast Coast, maybe not such a great idea, like you're saying, but, you know, if you don't bring the fight to them for 30 minutes, Hector is going to farm up a Storm, and how do you fight him then?
Yep. I agree. I feel like Ictor's Bloodseeker was very impressive this whole game. They figured out well with the Fiend script, right? And honestly, was a little weakness in the draft that Beast Coast hasn't really considered. But once they realized how they had to play these team fights and how Stinger had to be positioned, it seemed like it was a no-brainer afterwards. So it didn't seem like it struggled too much. I commend NoPing though. I think RDO is really diversifying his strategy. I like him a lot. I think I like him more every single day, but not quite there yet. Not at the level of Beast Coast yet.
Yeah, it's a very high level of likeness for Beast Coast, at least for Ava Plus. High barrier to reach. But I do believe we're going to be throwing it back over to the panel, Ava. So without further ado, I'll let you break down that game a little bit more with Lacasse, Lyrical, and yourself.
Thank you for that throw, Richie. Appreciate that. We're here on panel. How did you guys get to witness that game? Did you, Lyrical? You were my biggest bandwagoner. You fell off at the end of the trap, but you believed in NoPing through to the end.
No,
were you satisfied with the performance?
I bet on them, and I was wrong. I was somewhat satisfied. It was interesting. That felt like 2.5 games in a way. There was like the very first game, which was, you know, some really super clutch plays by Gojira that like completely was able to salvage it, and then they won that game. And then slowly they gave that game away to NoPing, and then NoPing took over, and you know, Tinker started to be a boss, and things were trouble. And then there's just the half a game, which was the rapier shenanigans at the end. So I was relatively pleased with NoPing. I think your point about RDO and sort of maybe not knowing exactly or not working with his play style in the mid game led to them being a little bit further behind than I would have wanted to see. But overall, I was pretty pleased with their performance.
I think it comes down to the laning stage where you have, Io and Bane, and you should not be losing the lane so much. And it also comes down to having Thinker and also Kunkka, who tend to farm the same place. They want to be inside the triangle, farm up the ancients. Tinker does not want to join like fights early on that much, especially because your playmaker is the Night Stalker. It's not Kunkka in this game, so he needs to do stuff, and he got shut down in the laning stage. Also, like matchup for him is really bad, playing into Shadow Demon, so he can't lock onto one target, and also getting either purged, demonic purged, or ruptured in a team fight, which kind of kills the whole strategy that they got. Like having Night Stalker running in, providing the vision for Tinker, and then Tinker just spamming the rockets, creating a lot of chaos on top of with Kunkka, and having a prolonged team fight with Aya relocates, X mark the spot possibly, and Bane like with some saves. But I like how you described the game, where we kind of had like 3 games being played in one game. Beast Coast, I know they're kind of a style where they like tend to prolong the games, but I think it's a sign of weakness when you think about Beast Coast as a team, which is an international team. Like they can compete with any team in the world, and you can't afford to make mistakes like that. So I think playing like this should not be done by a team like a Beast Coast. Like they should definitely try to avoid stuff like this.
Specifically, like this fight right there that we just saw, that was the biggest moment right there. Where I was like, oh my god, NoPing are actually going to turn this back around, and they catch C Smile here, run him down in the trees afterwards. This was one of the things that I saw that I was like, this could actually work, is if you can get Night Stalker or some control onto that Shadow Demon, everything looks great. And when you see, you know, all those best teams in the world play, it doesn't always end up happening. And I would include Beast Coast into that as far as like their upper bound of their potential. They're definitely there.
That's why I'm saying it. Like stuff like this should not happen. It's hard to close out the game for, especially if you play against Thinkers, so that's going to be a lot of spam. You don't have any kind of like sustain. You don't have any kind of healing, so you can't reset other than the Spirit Vessel, and it's not enough considering how much damage Tinker does. So you need to be very careful like how you approach it. maybe a couple of mistakes. Because in the end, I was like slightly worried, even though they had like 15k gold lead. Once they hit that Divine Rapier timing and Tinker getting big, you can hold whole fight around pretty much. If they had maybe one or two more big fights like they did with the good grip on a Bloodseeker so that he can deal damage, could have been a different game maybe.
Yeah. I do think though it boils down to what you're saying, Lacoste. Where like we saw the good Fiend script, and you're right to a degree, Gabe. That one of those was because of the Night Stalker, but the other one was just Stinger's not there, right? And that kind of fight is the fight where you go, well, should Beast Coast be doing these? Like the Mars TP to the Outpost, for example.
Yeah,
you watch that
one
and you
for
go.
sure.
Do you expect this from a TI caliber team? Probably not.
Right.
It's weird because we always say this about Beast Coast, and they always say that they can't. How are they going to practice being consistent? And they go internationally, and they usually do well. These are none of the mistakes they do there. And then the game against Alliance happens, and then it's back to this Beast Coast again. So it's hard. What's the progression from here? How do you improve as a team? This is your biggest Achilles heel, your inconsistency.
So one thing that really stands out to me is it actually reminds me of like old Virtus Pro a little bit in terms of the
like
struggles
top tier
that
Virtus Pro?
Yeah,
like
top
solo?
tier. Solo, Nolan, Pasha, like that range right there of games where it's like you can it was one of the more frustrating teams to watch because you just see how unbelievably talented they all are, and then it's like they aren't necessarily I get the frustration also of like how do we practice consistency, because it's like if you don't feel that pressure because you're always like, oh, we can always just look forward, TI is the real thing that we're thinking about, this is the big thing that we're working on, then you can't feel that pressure, and so you can't practice for it. It's a tough situation to be in.
If you play like this for 9-10 months throughout the year, and then you play like one big tournament, or if you play like that, let's say 3 months, and then you play a major, and you need to play differently. You need to have like different mentality coming into a game, how you're going to close them out. We're focusing like on the negative stuff because they won against NoPing, but seeing a Beast Coast, I'm never worried that they're not gonna qualify considering how good they are. So I just want to see them improve stuff that I think a lot of people can see as a weakness and sometimes as their enemy. It feels like they're having so much fun, but at one point it has to stop if you want to get like top 4 at TI, let's say, which I think they're capable of doing. That's why I'm saying it.
Right.
Yeah. It's a proud dad here talking about Beast Coast, someone that knows they can do better, right? This reminds me of an interview a long time ago that Hector did, where they were talking about what Beast Coast was missing, and it was a very controversial one in the Spanish scene because he said that they were missing like a coach, and they have a coach, so that was a bit offensive. But he said. He specifically called out a coach for Ego Boys called Ejorco, which you might have seen around the scene, and was very controversial. So the guy is like 1.5k. He's like Crusader or whatever that level is. He's not known for his analytical plays. And so when he clarified, he said, no. The thing about him is that he gives you discipline. He's like a drill sergeant. That's his style of coaching. He'll tell you play from 9 to like 12. You watch replays from 12 to 3. You need that discipline. And it seems like they might be still missing that idea of. It's not a fun game. It's a job at this point. If you want to win, you gotta kind of put the effort into developing that. So who knows? Maybe that's what they need. Maybe they need to get the guy from Full Metal Jacket to be part of their team.
Maybe. At oh god, I know scene you're talking about. Yeah, with private tiles or whatever it is. I don't think that would be helpful if I'm gonna be honest. Like,
oh, okay.
Bald old men yelling at you feels like it's not the way to go. Otherwise they could get Slacks or something to come do that.
I don't see that helping out, definitely. Like if Slack starts yelling at me, I would just, tell him to shut up and leave me alone. I'm trying to play my game.
Imagine it's not Slacks. Imagine it's like a well-respected member of your community, an elder, let's call him.
I mean, Slacks is a respected member of the community to a certain degree.
As a player,
listen, he got second at TI. All right,
that's true. Actually, that's true. That's more than Beast Coast. So,
if someone who's like outside of Dota, I think having a mental coach is a good thing to have. Like we've seen what OG can do at the eyes when they have someone like, even without the mental coach, I would still think team like OG would do well, considering like how they prepare with their mentality. If you watch like through sites, I think teams that want to compete at the highest level definitely need to look into that. But to go back a bit to the game, I feel NoPing, they need to focus on the lanes. They need to be able to like get more, not get stomped. Because I didn't feel they played Dota for the first 15, 20 minutes. And you're
That's how it
also
felt.
like missing out on the timing. Because like there is no relocate plays, nothing aggressively, nothing with the Night Stalker, a couple of kills here and there because Beast Coast, they tend to overextend. And you're also like, you don't expect that much damage coming out from Tinker. I just feel RDO played a really good game. You guys maybe disagreed to one extent where you
Well,
felt like he needed to join the fights a bit early on, but I've praised him before the game, and after seeing him play the game, it's not up to him to go and be active as Kunkka as so much, because I think Tinker, as we said, is their win condition. So they needed to play around Tinker, but also it comes down to having two supports who are more like lane focused and they don't do so much like post 15 minutes. Io also doesn't have a partner. Like Io doesn't have a hero to play in this game. Also, if you noticed, he was playing with the Night Stalker, and it also means like it's not his partner to play with. Also, Night Stalker was super underleveled because of that bad laning stage. Laning with Io, like playing with Io constantly, which means that his silence was like level 1 because you take the talent from with the Night Stalker, and he maxed out both nuke and his passive. So having like 20 minutes in 1 point in silence is just really not good.
yeah, it's not going to be able to find the kills that you want. And I would kind of agree that the point that you had made earlier about why like RDO wasn't able to fight as effectively earlier too, of having that shadow demon on the other side, that kind of resonated with me a little bit more when you're talking about the ability to save if he does go on you. So there's definitely some parts to that as well.
Yeah.
The thing that I would really stood out to me the most in like the first game of this game, if we're gonna talk about it, was really Schofield's play. Like I felt like Gojira absolutely owned. And I remember that one fight that happened up top where Bloodseeker pops his BKB to like go solo on the Bane and just kills him with the BKB. And then it's like, all right, they don't have Mars Arena, they don't have BKB, and NoPing's like, all right, we can go in and we can take this fight. And that was a moment where Beast Coast made a play that's like, that's the top 4 play in the world type of play, which is like, we don't need to be afraid of them. We're still stronger than them. Even though we recognize we're lacking these resources, we still have enough to win it. And it was off the back of a Schofield Echo Slam that killed 2 heroes because they grew overconfident. They like got initiated on, like NoPing got initiated on and like outmaneuvered when they had Night Stalker. That shouldn't happen. Like that just shouldn't happen.